Make sure that you get paid for the exact things that you contribute.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast.
Minisode.
Welcome back to the program, everybody. I want to share with you an interesting negotiation tactic that I learned from my from my trainee. You can learn things from trainees, folks. I want to tell you about it here in just a little bit. I want to pause here and remind you that we are sponsored by a great program called ANOW. ANOW is a program that you can access anywhere. I have it on my phone. I have it on my tablets. I have it on my laptops, my desktops. It's in the cloud, folks, and it allows you at a snap of a finger to know exactly what's going on in your business. Go to anow.com to learn more. It's anow.com. All right, folks, this particular episode will not probably apply to many of you. But for the few of you who have partnerships, I want you to consider a negotiation tactic that I think is brilliant. It was one that I initially heard about from my trainee. We were driving around, and this particular trainee, very business savvy, and he's actually in the valuation field himself. It's not appraisal field, but he does other valuations for businesses. And so he and I have some interesting talks, and we were driving around doing inspections a couple of weeks ago, and he shared with me something that he had learned that I thought was interesting, and I had to look it up. And it will help individuals out there who have struggles with partnerships. Now, you should know, and I think I've said on this program before, I'm not a big fan of partnerships. I'm not a big fan because, frankly, I've had some bad experiences myself. Some of my clients through coaching have had some bad experiences, and it can work. I've seen it work. I've seen other partnerships that have been ongoing for decades, and they work brilliantly. I would say that's the exception, not the rule. And so I would say this. If you're going to get into a partnership, so let's talk appraisal. Let's say that you and another appraiser decide to partner up, okay? I would highly recommend a couple of things. First of all, okay, do not do this on a handshake and a hug, right? There's too much at stake here, and I've seen it 1,000 times. Well, the guy was my best friend. The guy was my brother. The guy was my dad, right? I never thought it would end this way. Again, plan for the unpredictable. Cover yourself, cover your assets, okay? Do it legally, do it with a lawyer, do it through a contract. Okay, but do it right up front. Always assume that it's going to end badly, even if you don't see any way in the world it's going to do so. Secondly, and I don't want to get too deep in the weeds right now, but with partnerships, make sure that you're being paid for what you contribute. Let me repeat that. Make sure that you get paid for the exact things that you contribute. Too often I see partnerships set up in a 50-50 relationships, and it's not 50-50 as far as the giving goes, if you know what I mean. Okay. All right, I want to tell you about a great negotiation technique. Okay? It's one that you've actually used before. You may just not have heard the title, but I love this, and if I ever do a partnership, this is how I'm going to do it. I want to pause here and remind you that we are sponsored first by ANOW Software. ANOW is, well, it takes care of everything in my business. When I say everything, folks, it doesn't write my reports right now, okay? But it does manage each and every aspect of my appraisal business, my management side, the file management, the business management, to know my numbers. I go to ANOW Software. I click a few buttons. I can tell who's doing what. I can tell where my commissions are. I can tell where my unpaids are. I can tell how many people need some help. I can tell what is outstanding. I can tell how many revision requests we're getting, how many of those are urgent, how many of those can wait, how many of those are our fault, how many of those are just goofy things that the AMCs are throwing out there. These are all things that I can set ANOW to tell me. It's amazing. It's anow.com, anow.com. All right, folks, welcome back to the program. We're talking about partnerships. Specifically, we're talking about division of partnerships, meaning you formed a partnership, you're working together, you let's just say you own it 50-50, right? And you get down the road and it's now time, it just is not working out anymore. How do you go about dissolving that partnership? Which one moves on? Which one gets paid out? How do you do it and do it fairly? Well, my trainee shared with me a negotiation technique that you and I have used for years, right? Have you ever done the whole cut the cookie? You cut the cookie and I choose, right? Here's a cookie, we're going to share it. You cut it, I choose. Well, the brilliant thing about the cut the cookie, but the other person chooses is it forces the first person to be honest. It forces the first person to be as honest as they possibly can. And then the second person has the opportunity to choose. And in that way, it's a fair negotiation. There is a buy-sell provision out there called the Texas Shootout. Now, the Texas Shootout is simply this. one of the partners basically proposes a price for the buyout. The other partner then gets to choose whether or not to sell out at that price or to accept the same price from the individual that proposed it. Okay, I love this. Isn't this brilliant, right? So both partners have decided they don't want to move forward. It's not working. Their partnership needs to be dissolved. How do you do it fairly? Well, one partner chooses the price. Okay, Jim, I think that my half of this appraisal office is worth $250,000. Jim now has the opportunity to sell to the individual at $250 or take $250 from the individual that proposed it. I love this. It's brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Folks, I know many of you don't have partnerships, but I love the principle of fairness. I love the principle of making sure that everybody is fair with each other. Everybody is honest with each other, right? This is business. I love business. I love getting to know you, getting to know your business. I would love to get to know you better. If you're interested in coaching, we have a 6-pack right now. It is a steeply discounted 6 sessions with me that can be spread out however you want to do that. This is the way to get from where you're at to where you need to be, and I would love to be a part of that. Go to my website. It's theappraisercoach.com and click on coaching.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.